Hi, this is Robert with www.libertasia.com, and I'm going to be going over the George Zimmerman Trayvon Martin media event. So let's get right to it. Okay, the first thing to note about this is that there's 45 people killed in America every day. Out of a year, that is enough people killed, homicides, that there's surely many really good racially motivated murders that somebody sitting back could easily choose one, and at that point put it on the news 24/7, on the mainstream media, on the corporate controlled mainstream media 24/7, and control the minds of the American people. In other words, it didn't have to be this one. If they hadn't done this one, they might have had to wait, say, 1 week, and they could have found another. They could have put it on the news 24/7, and they could have engaged the minds of the American people. They could have induced riots. They could have achieved everything they achieved with this particular event. So I would just note that it clearly reeks of media control. Media control, almost as if it were a psychological operation, because in fact this wasn't really that even interesting of a case. It was an act of self-defense. Anyone who analyzes it is going to come to that conclusion. So it was, I mean, they could have most likely come up with a better murder event. What was interesting about this one is that maybe it didn't lead to a guilty verdict, which gives the prospect of riots, which might be what they were trying to instigate in the beginning, and maybe that's what made it good. Maybe I'm on to something there. Okay, but I think there were several objectives that were achieved by the corporate media, which then probably represents, or does represent, the New World Order. First thing they achieved, I'll just go through it, is they achieved the American people protesting against self-defense. That's a pretty good victory. If the New World Order can get Americans to protest against self-defense, they have to be sitting back smiling. Second, they achieved racial division, which is something they use politically, because that gives them a political advantage, because they can create a special interest group and so forth. Three, it creates a demand for more security. In other words, a police state, because people are scared of the violence. So it creates a need for a greater surveillance police state. People feeling unsecure will demand greater protection. Four, it's a diversion. I want to make a point that everything the mainstream media covers, everything the corporate mainstream media covers, everything the prostitute media covers is a diversion. Because if they covered the actual news, we would start solving the problems that they are very busy trying to create, and they don't want that. So it becomes a diversion. Maybe it was a diversion from what should have been, a discussion about the Fourth Amendment, in regards to the NSA and the Snowden issues. It could have been a diversion from, well, let's see, maybe it was a diversion from the fact that the propaganda ban was repealed on July 15th. And what is the propaganda ban? Well, we all know, we all think, we all assume that the United States government doesn't engage in propaganda, that the United States government doesn't have a Pravda. But now it does. And a critical additional line, there might not be 20 lines like this one before you end up in complete Stalinist Russia type situation. This is one of them. A state-sponsored media, or a state-controlled media, is one of the critical lines towards tyranny. That happened without any debate, without anyone in the mainstream media covering it. It's quite incredible. So the New World Order has achieved a lot with the Trayvon Martin media event. They've achieved a lot of goals, and they have to be sitting back pretty satisfied. Okay, so that's my report for today. Thank you.